Hello and welcome back to Mirror's Signal podcast, your weekly podcast sponsored by Knowledgeably Instructor Training, award-winning CPD providers. Stay tuned to the episode for your discount code from them. In today's episode, it was our final interactive episode with some of the MSP community members. And what we done on this episode, we looked back on what goals and progress the members had made and what they're proud of achieving through 2025. We then discussed some of the lessons learned and things that they would have changed if they could, and then looking forward to 2026 and what are some of the goals from the members and myself, and what might 2026 look like. The underlying message and something that I think I need to take away and look at is time management. That's come up a lot through these sessions and a lot in previous episodes. So something that I think is worth considering for most of us is, where's our time going? How are we managing it? And what do we want it to look like? Have we still got time for ourselves? Have we got the diary set up that we want? Are we managing to achieve what we need to, both personally and professionally? So an interesting episode. I really enjoyed filming it and I enjoyed these sessions. So stay tuned for more coming in the future. For now, we will get on with the episode. I hope you all enjoy. Hello, and thank you all for joining me again this evening. It is the last recording session of 2025, and this will be the first episode that goes out in 2026. And what I wanted to do with you guys this evening was look back on the year we've just had and look forward to what is now this year when the recording goes out, but into 2026. And following the same theme as the last session, where we worked around, each person got the opportunity to answer, but the questions are slightly different, and you can have them related to driver training, whatever aspect, whatever part you're at, or just life and progress, whatever you guys want to share with us. But the first question is, looking back on the last year, what progress are you proud of? What things have you done that you're happy with coming to the end of 2025? And I'll work around, each person will get a chance to share and we can discuss. But I'm going to start with, because he requested it specifically, Andy, looking back on the last year, what things are you happy with?
I did suggest it because I thought it would be an interesting subject of what's happened and what hasn't happened over the last 12 months. I think one of the things that I'm proud of is in March, I started a ADI PDI night in our local area as we're nothing for people to do. And that's grown steadily over the year. Don't get big numbers, but if we keep increasing month on month, then hopefully we'll get into some decent figures. People moan there's nothing to do, but yet they don't make time to come. And no matter what day of the week we do it, it's always wrong day because somebody can't come or they can't come or stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of my proudest things. Also, doing CPD, I've managed to do quite a bit. I pride myself in trying to do about 10 hours a month. So I've done quite a bit of CPD moving around. I've been to all conferences this year. I'll hopefully go to them all next year. Penny introduced me to ADI and JC members meeting a few weeks ago, which was really good. So I'm looking forward to going to more of them next year. But yeah, I just keep cracking on because I feel if we sit still, we're going to get left behind with the way things are moving in industry.
It's moving quick. And off the back of that, I do have some questions for you. I think the first one would be that ADI PDI night that you've been organizing. How would people find out about it? If anyone's listening to this, roughly whereabouts in the country are you, and how do people get to know about it?
Oh, well, we run it near Chadderton Test Centre in Oldham. So we run it at Costa Coffee, just round corner from Chadderton Test Centre. Somebody said I run it for my benefit close to where I live, but it's an half an hour drive for me to where it is. I just thought we'd do it near test centre because everybody knows where test centre is. My plan for it was to try and get people from further afield to come around Manchester and Oldham area, but it's not gone off like that. And I thought over time what we could do is move to different places around Manchester, but it's just sort of been at Chadderton, and not many people come because obviously calls from round our way. We've got Bredbury, we've got Rochdale, we've got plenty of test centres close by. And I thought if we could get it building up and we could go to different areas, to try and get people more involved in it, but it's not got off like that. But I just thought I'd do it for mainly like PDIs. So they've got some way of speaking, because I know I've mentioned it before, where it's a very lonely industry. And I am not from this area originally. I moved to this area. But I've only just started working in this area within the last 2 years because I worked back in my hometown before then. And in my hometown, they've got a really good association there where they run things bi-monthly. I think there's about 250 members at that. So they have meetings quite often. I'd like to think that's where we could get to in this area, but I don't know if it'll get to that point.
Things like that take a lot of organizing as well, don't they? A lot of people to please. So sometimes you've just got to say, look, this is where it is. This is when it's happening. That's your option.
Yeah.
But you never know. You might be able to get someone else on board, do you know, that's local that could maybe help out in a slightly different area of town. Not that I'm looking at Carl or anything like that. But I would, before we do bring Carl in, because you're next on my hit list, the CPD. I know that you do a lot of CPD, and I don't want to like throw anyone else under the bus, but obviously the episodes I'd like people to be able to potentially take things away or something that's actionable or something that they can go and do coming into this new year. So what's been some of the standout CPD for you that you think would benefit people?
One course I went on, I actually went because there were a couple of PDIs that wanted to go on it. And I tagged along with him, and it was Tom Stenson's GDE Matrix. Because a lot of people don't use GDE Matrix and they don't understand it. And I took 3 PDIs along with me, and we had quite a good day actually. And they come away better skilled knowing what GDE Matrix is because they wanted to find out more about it. And I'd seen that Tom were running a course. So I said, well, if you want to go, I'll go here to try and encourage him to do CPD as well. And I went along with him. But yeah, that's one thing I've done this year with Tom Stenson, GDE Matrix, because a lot of driving instructors have never heard of it. They've never come across it. They don't know what it is. And I think it's a good tool to have in car to be able to share with your learners.
Nice. And if people go back, they'll find Tom on a couple of episodes and his contact details if he's running any more of them. But yeah, the GDE matrix, once you start understanding it, I find it makes lessons so much easier because you have so much more understanding of your learners, don't you? Once you start applying and understanding that, the lessons make more sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it helps them as well.
Nice. Well, there we go. That's maybe targets for people. 10 hours a month is a lot of CPD. What's that, about 2.5 hours a week?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours a week, but people freak about it. But there's a lot of free stuff out there. There's a lot of free stuff out there where you can jump on. It costs us absolutely nothing. But there's people out there that can't pay attention, so they don't want to pay for a course. But there is a lot of free stuff.
Worth going, checking it out. I like it. I'm not going to keep you muting and unmuting your camera anymore.
Well, I said I weren't going to talk tonight. I was just going to be here to listen in. I'm going for my hair done soon.
Yeah, you ain't getting away with that. You're locked in now, Andy. There's no leaving. But what I will do, I'm going to pose the same question to Carl. So, Carl, what things are you proud of that you've achieved through 2025?
A few things really. I think some of it's not driving related, or instructor related, but I think getting out of the hands of a certain company uh, was definitely a huge highlight for me in March. Um, so I think um, I'm proud of myself for keeping my head together when I lost my mum because I thought that I was going to lose it. That's when I look back at it, I think, do you know what? I've actually really done pretty well there. Do you know what I mean? To keep me business afloat and just to keep me head above the water and try and operate as a normal human when something so profound happens to you. Because to me, it was just I don't think anything will ever compare to that. To that. So I think that definitely giving myself a little pat on the back there for not going under. Um, Building my own business, getting it off the ground and being successful at that right from the go, it worked. I already had a client base, which was obviously a good thing. I was never supplied by that company. I did it all on my own anyway. But I think it was just organizing it all. I was having problems trying to get hold of a car. The time I was getting hold of the car, I was in Thailand. It was all a bit crazy. And I was panicking about coming home and having the car to be able to get back to work straight away. And it all worked out super smoothly. So I think when all that happened, I thought, I'm doing something right. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely right. It's working. Yeah, I think basically, I'm obviously my CPD. No matter what I'm doing, I always make time for that. It's several hours a week. Even just stuff like this to me is CPD, and I'm on a course on with Bob Martin's mentorship. I'm just about to enroll on his train the trainer course, which starts this month. So yeah, I think, and regarding what Andy was talking about before about the evening that I've never been to yet, even though it's bloody close. If I was to explain why, the other thing I'm really proud of myself is that not driving related is that nearly every evening of my life that I'm not doing stuff like this because I without sounding too can't think of the word about it. I'm a very busy person. I never bloody stop. So once I've done my day shift, I come back home and I have to get in my studio because I'm working to deadlines. So I actually make music for other people, and that is working to deadlines. So basically, I when I get home and I've had my tea, I'm usually in my studio, um, recording. So I'm proud of myself for keeping that going, and I'm also proud of myself for managing to get my music on Virgin Records for the very first time in my whole life, and I'm 58 years old. So I'm dead proud of myself for that because that gets released in the new year. But I'm proud of myself for being able to do that. So all that sort of worked out as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that things have gone and how I've handled it all and continue to do so. Yeah, but that's why I've not been on your nights because I'm always in my studio. I can't fall behind with that. I'm just not allowed to.
We'll have to arrange one for an afternoon then.
That would probably work. That would probably work a little bit better. I just never stop, and I don't want to stop. It's not. I'm not one that likes to have downtime. My brain doesn't like downtime. It has to be doing something. Do you know what I mean? I'll even wash things in the washing machine that don't need washing. I'll just do shit like that because it's something that I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's like I have to be doing something at all times, and if I'm not being productive in some way, then I'm not happy. So that's what spurns me to keep going. I just get worse and worse. I don't know where all my energy comes from, to be fair. I should be winding down at this age and it isn't working. But yeah, that's my answer to that question.
I love it. And I do have a few questions on that, but I think that might be solved with, I guess, the next couple of questions that are coming up. So I'm not going to delve into that because there's quite a list there. And I think there's some bits that maybe people can take away from. And I suspect that there's maybe some changes that you might be making in going into the new year and looking forward. So I like that. CPD, everything else that you've got going on, the challenges that you've had through your personal life as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back with a few more questions and see how the next 12 months is going to look. So thanks for that. I'll bring Gary in now. What things are you proud of this last year, Gary?
Started off the year as a truck driver. I'm proud of the fact that I made the plunge and changed career. It was my daughter that mainly did that for me, and I first tried helping her to drive, and then inquired, and then I've set trying to organise everything and change of career coming up to Christmas as well. Then going into a new career totally blind, not reading up, not doing too much, and thinking that's just me though. I think I don't look too much into it, even if it might be a bad decision. It might be a bad decision, but I'm going to try my hardest to make it good. But that's the way I always have been, and I always will be. I think. Lucky that I've got my wife that backs me 100%, which is good. And it's been an eye opener, a massive eye opener. The whole since September, August, September time, it was a massive eye opener. I got talking to different people who opened my eyes to what I needed to do and how I needed to do it, and trying to find my own way through that. So I'm proud of me for that. It got a bit tricky towards this last 2 or 3 weeks. It got a bit tricky, but I'm all right now. So, but that's
So
what
is that around the time that you? Sorry, is that around the time you started? Was it the PDI license and working as a driving instructor?
I started in end of September, beginning of October. But it would, I think, I don't know. It just got a bit too. It just got a bit too much for me. I think I was doing a bit too much, and it was just going stupid. My lessons were, when I look back the last 2 weeks, my lessons have been rubbish, really rubbish, and it was frustrating me that it would getting to be like that. And I've just reflected and really sat down and thought about how I need to change and what I need to change. And diary management, we were talking about last week, it's massive, and you don't even realise it. Because when I came into it, I didn't know what is diary management. I've never had that. I used to drive a truck 5, 6 days a week. You just switch on and switch off driving a truck, and this is all new heap of stuff. So, but I'm all right. It's good.
I think the next question might delve into some of that and help people that are listening or watching that are maybe at a similar stage to what you are, or they're going to have that coming in the not too distant future. So some things to discuss, I expect, as we move through the episode. But what I'll do now, go on, sorry.
I was looking at your podcast, and that's one of the first things I was listening to, probably about 2 months ago, and I was scrolling through because I wasn't a member then, so I was just scrolling through, and I saw Andy's ugly mug come up on a podcast. So I texted him. I said, "He gets literally everywhere, this Yorkshire lad." So he texted me. So then he rang me. He says, "Have you found that podcast?" I says, "I've been listening to it for ages." So we were talking about that.
There's I think sometimes there can be a bit much now with the podcast episodes as well, because that can become a bit consuming as well, can't it? If you just
Yeah.
find
Oh,
it
yeah.
now and there's like over 100 episodes for people to work through. And that comes into that diary and time management as well, doesn't it? Because where do you fit time in? And if you're using it as CPD rather than just passive listening, your brain's not switching off. And then it's all of a sudden your days are very long because you're reading, you're listening, you're watching, you're doing lessons.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worth turning them off and not listening to them.
This last 2 weeks, honestly, I'd just come home and just sit in my chair, and I'd have my diary in front of me, trying to work through things. And my wife said to me, she said, "Not good what you're doing." I said, "You need to switch off, Gaz." But like Carl was saying, he struggles with switching off. He can't switch off. But I think I need to switch off.
Takes time and practice, but we'll come to that because the next question before, well, we'll get to Penny before we get to it, but that is looking back on the year and what changes, if you could, would you make? So I think we might all have a bit to add on that. But before we get to that one, I'm going to bring Penny in so we can look back on your 2025, Penny. What things are you proud of achieving last year?
Getting three PDIs through their part 2 first time. At the beginning of the year. Waiting on part 3s. One very soon. Not one that you know, but his very soon. Just so keep fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. Completing the higher educational certificate through Oxford Brookes and driving mobility. I was in the last cohort to done that course and achieving a distinction for that. So that was quite a proud moment. Becoming a member of the IMTD, the Institute of Master Trainers of Drivers. I was quite proud of that moment too. That was quite an experience. I have to write a dissertation and then sit an interview in front of 4 people with 5 people watching. So that's very daunting. But if I can do it, most people can. What else? I suppose developing myself as a trainer rather than just as somebody who works with driving mobility and somebody that teaches learners. Actually doing my development and helping people become better instructors and to become instructors. And outside of driving is losing a couple of stone. It was 3 stone, but I think I put on a stone this past week.
I mean, we are filming between Christmas and New Year. I think we all
Exactly.
might have done that a bit.
But yeah, they're my main goals this year, or my main proud moments this year.
So there's quite a lot, isn't there, when we look back at what everyone's achieving. Sometimes we forget what's been involved in the year. And there's some big ones there in yours, Penny, with the qualifications and IMTD, PDIs, lots of things going on.
Okay.
I love it.
Oh, there's something else as well. Appearing on your podcast, Josh, several times.
I was waiting. We've had a few people that have done that and not mentioned it, but well, it's all right, guys. We know where we stand. So there's some good achievements there, and I think we can maybe delve into some of it, some changes that maybe people will make, and then obviously we're going to finish by looking forward to the year. I don't know where some of yous go into 2026. There's some big achievements this year. But is there anything anyone's missed now we've listened to each other? Anything coming back that people would like to share before we move on?
I'd like to know what yours are, Josh.
Exactly. That's why I unmuted. You're not getting away with it, son.
I wasn't prepared for this. I told you before recording, I've not come prepared. So I'm going to do what I do every episode. I'm going to wing it completely. But the year, well, we had my standards check. Kind of happy with that. Got the grade I needed. That was March. The podcast has been consistent for the year. So that's at least a weekly episode, which has taken some doing. Started doing some more content with Dr. Julia Malkin for her membership and pushing that. And then Instruct IQ as well. So moving into now I've done the standards check. I'm not going to moan about the DVSA and what's going on there. I've done what I wanted to do personally before I started stepping out and offering support to PDIs. So yeah, getting Instruct IQ off the ground and working with a few PDIs. We've got one who's been with me since the beginning, who's about to start on a PDI license. Another one that I helped, who's now in ADI. He was like my first one where I was like, I'll help you, I'll support you, but I've not got my grade A yet. So he's qualified. And then AI as well, I guess. Bringing in AI tools, that's been massive. I know a few of you have said it on the show that you don't stop, you don't sit still, you like to keep going. I guess that's why we're all here, to be fair. We're all probably a similar personality where I can't sit and watch TV. And working with AI is probably one of the worst things that I've found because it's endless. If you have an idea, you start working with it, you start trying to build it. So there's that part one, part two, part three. But understanding how to use that and how to build it, I found as quite a big achievement. But it's been a very interesting year looking back. It's been non-stop, working with some cool people, keeping the podcast consistent, chatting to all of you guys. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should stop, sit back and reflect on the year and look at what's actually happened because I never do. It's just constant work, work, work. So that's some of my stuff that I'm proud of. There's probably more that I forgot. Getting back to the gym until I got injured. So I'm back training, feeling a bit healthier. So that's mine, I think. We'll edit that bit out anyway. Just make it about you guys.
I think that's probably for me, probably the most important question of this session is that question that we've all just answered, because without that question, would we have really reflected on what we're most proud of and what our achievements have been over the last 12 months? Because we're constantly doing something and we never really sit down and go, do you know what? Actually, I've managed to do this, you know what I mean? And I've, got through it all in a positive way and and I think that we do very little of that generally. So I think it's a really good question, for this evening. When I saw it on the email, I thought, that's a bloody good question, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? The other ones are good as well, but I just thought that one is quite important because the reflection is important, isn't it? You know what I mean? It helps you to move forward and how you're going to make decisions based on what your reflection is. So it is.
We should all be doing it. 6.5 at national standards. Should be able to self-reflect.
But you start reeling off your bloody numbers on the air.
Well, I'm going to mix it up now based on what you've just said, Carl, because I know we've all come prepared and I'm hoping everyone's had the opportunity to say what they wanted. So I'm going to mix it up, going to wing it as I do. And we're going to go around again. And everyone gets to really think now about something that they wasn't prepared for. So what haven't you mentioned yet? And you can take a minute to answer if you want, that you're proud of. Now we've got to really think. So Andy, we're going to go around again. What hasn't been mentioned that you're proud of from the year?
I think one of the things I am proud of is the amount of people I've managed to get through the test this year. That I've taught to hopefully be safe drivers. I think I've got about 24 people through the test this year. Some of them are challenging because they're special education needs. So they're not the easiest people to teach. Some have come through 2 and 3 instructors that they've been binned off by. And there's one girl that I did get through. I say she's a girl, she's a lady. She's been learning to drive for 15 years and gone through 5 driving instructors. And she actually said to me, "You're the only one that's ever believed in me." Because the day before she went for a test, she wasn't going because she didn't think she was good enough to drive. And she went and she passed. But I know that means a lot to her because it took her 15 years to learn to drive through 5 different instructors. So, yeah. So the people that need help in believing themselves, especially education needs ones, I think they're really proud moments to get them through the test. Because it's a struggle for them. It's a struggle for them.
Mm.
I like that. And you know what? I don't think we've mentioned that about what we've helped others achieve. And we probably overlook that. Yeah, it's what we're doing day in, day out. We almost, it's a huge thing we're doing, but we don't realize because it is just our day-to-day life. But it's life-changing for a lot of people. Once they get that license, it's their freedom. It increases what they can do with their life, job prospects, independence. It's a huge step for our learners. For us, sometimes it is just that job. It's what we do every day. And we overlook the impact that it can sometimes have on people. I like that. Now for you, Gary, something that you've not yet mentioned.
I think it's family orientated with my daughter. She wasn't a very sporty person, and we spoke earlier on in the year about joining sport teams and cricket clubs and running clubs. She said, "No, I don't want to do it." And we were only in her head that she was holding herself back. And we spoke about it. I took her a couple of times. And now she's fully involved, and so she's doing really well. And it's brought her out more, a character out, which is good. And trying to help work wise, like Candy said, trying to help people as best they can. Because there's a couple of special autism, couple of people, and that was an eye opener for me as well. So it was good. So enjoying that.
Nice. So more about helping people. We can overlook those little things, can't we, that can make that big difference to people.
Yeah, that's what we're all here for, I think, as best we can. But we've
That's
also got
it,
to
isn't
help
it?
yourself as well. Got to help yourself as well.
Yes. That gets forgot as well, doesn't it, at times?
Yeah, yeah.
We put too much effort into everything and everyone else and forget about ourselves.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Nice
How are
answer
you
there.
saying you was going to the gym? you said you was going back to the gym, which is good. It's massive.
It is. It was good getting back to it. Apart from, like I say, the injuries that I've picked up, I'm looking forward to getting the new year out of the way and hopefully get back somewhat consistent to that and see where I can take it coming into this new year. Yeah, lots to look forward to, and we'll get onto that with that last question at the end. But you've all changed order, so I'm going around just anti-clockwise because it's what I do, which means Penny, you're up next for that next thing that you're proud of that you didn't mention last time.
I think it's working full-time job, teaching learners manual cars on a Saturday, automatic on a Sunday, and then teaching PDIs whenever I can fit them in, usually a couple of evenings a week, and then in some Saturdays and Sundays, so they sit in some of my lessons that I'm doing, or I sit in theirs. So it's just fitting everything in, which then leads me on to my the next question.
Then I will not spoil it just yet. I'll bring Carl in, then we can get on to that next one. So something that you've not mentioned, Carl, because you gave me the idea on this reflection. What else are you proud of from the year that you've not mentioned yet?
I've not mentioned it, but both Andy and Penny gave me the idea there because I did actually. Penny, the same as you, I managed to lose 3 stone, changing the way that I live my life, changing my diet completely, going on a bit of a health kick, and I know I need to get rid of cigarettes, but that might be the next big thing. But yeah, I lost 3 stone, managed to keep it off. I'm a lot healthier than I used to be, a hell of a lot. Like I said, changing my diet, you know quite a bit about that, what I talked about, Josh, like all the stuff that I've been doing. And one learner in particular, when I took her on, she told me that she was fully diagnosed with all forms of ADHD, all to the maximum level. And we probably both tore each other's hair out through the whole process. It was, for me, an eye-opener, a very big learning curve for me on how to accommodate and adapt to somebody's needs, because it was beyond the norm that I've, never seen anything like this. And we did it. It was a second test. The first test that she took, she was absolutely beside herself. You can just imagine the most nervous, most in fits of hysterical crying and all sorts before the test. And then when we get to the test centre, the examiner came out with another examiner. The test centre manager, sorry. And they informed her that they was getting in the car with her, and I just watched it go to absolute shit. When she come back, we were stood in the middle of the car park. She was literally inconsolable. It was horrible. Even the test centre manager had her arms around her and everything. It was just horrendous. The second test, obviously she passed, and it was that feeling of, how did we do this? Because it was a very, very difficult journey. And I miss her, but it was very hard for me. But I learned a lot from it. But I think that I'm very proud of the fact that I helped her achieve that, because she never believed she'd get there. She never believed that, all the family didn't think really in the background that it was going to happen. Her boyfriend his eyes will look like Pokemon's when she passed, like, how the fuck did she manage that? But it worked, and I think that, yeah, those 2 things, getting it healthier, losing all the weight, keeping it off, and helping somebody with that higher level of ADHD box that they put people in. yeah, to get through it. And she's, out there enjoying her freedom, and that means a lot. Do you know what I mean? It means so much because she put a lot of effort in, and I'm going to say that I put a hell of a lot of effort into that because it was bloody hard work. It made the job, when you're earning your money, when you're really earning your money. Yeah. So would I do it again? Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's me.
They're the learners I enjoy, the ones that have potentially been elsewhere and people have given up or no one believes they can do it. And then we get them there and we get them through. But there is something else that I'm going to mention. You haven't asked, but I'm going to share it anyway. And that is my diary. Because we've mentioned it, I am way more disciplined with my learners. My diary starts at a certain time, finishes at a certain time. And if the lessons can't fit into that, then I don't do the lessons. That's just for my learners. Everything else, that is still chaos every night, whatever. But the learners, the bit that pays my wage, is more disciplined, strict, and I found it much easier now to manage rather than trying to chop and change and squeeze people in, and people fit into my diary now for the learners. So that's something that I'm proud of and I'm going to be taking forward into the new year, is staying strict with that, knowing how many lessons I need to do, for how much I need to earn, and making my diary fit to that. And that's it. I'm not working extra hours or extra days or taking on learners that I can't consistently do, because I don't think there's anything worse than taking someone on with good intentions and then dreading going out every Tuesday night, whatever it is, to that lesson that you've taken on and shouldn't have. And now you've got to force yourself back out of the house. For some people, that's how their diary, how their life works. Fine. For me, I probably wasn't given the best lessons when I had to do that. So having my learner diary established and staying that way, I'm happy with that. I'm looking forward to taking it into this new year. So is everyone happy with the points that we've managed to bring up for this? Proud moments of 2025. Lots
Definitely.
of good things, and I'm sure it's going to stay. But we'll get on to that after this next question. So the next one, looking back on the year, if there was anything you could change, what would it be and how would you change it if you could? I'm going to keep going in this circle unless you guys, I don't know how you magically do it, keep changing spaces, which means, Andy, you're leading this one in again. What have you got?
What have I got? What would have changed? I'd have left the franchise earlier, what I were involved with. Without a shadow of a doubt. Because at the time it worked, but over time it's not worked. So people say about franchises not working, it works for some, it wouldn't work for others. But over time they just put price up and up and up. And that's what I wish I'd have done. I'd have left earlier and saved myself a tidy sum of money in the process.
I never would have guessed that was your answer, Andy.
And the only other thing I would say is I've got to learn to say no. Yeah, so that is something I'm going to do moving forward. I am going to say no. I'm going to be like you, strict. I have got strict to it. I will work until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm now saying that there's no evening slots. So I'm sort of on for 5 o'clock most nights at latest. I'd like to aim for 4. But whether it'll stay like that through summer, I might go a little bit later. But it's difficult in winter with dark nights to watch that pupil sometimes. So that's something I've definitely done this winter. I've not took nights on. I did it all through last winter because you need to be able to watch the pupil. I have got lighting in footwells and that in my car, but I've still stuck my ground. And other thing is as well, it's harder to drive in dark, and some people really struggle with it. So that's the two things that I've sort of changed this winter to last winter, and I'm going to take forward into next year as well.
It's always a link to diary management and time management, isn't there? We can't escape it.
No.
But I like it because that'll link into that next question. And I'm sure you've got well, I know you've got some goals for 2026, whether we discuss them here. So I'm looking forward to that last question. But I'll move around to Gary next. Before we get back to the episode, here is your discount code from our sponsors, Knowledgeably Instructor Training. You can use the discount code MSP10 for 10% off their client-centered learning Part 3 and Standards Check in-person award-winning workshop. That is MSP10 for 10% off. And is there anything, looking back on 2025, if you could go back and change or do differently, is there anything that you would?
I'd probably done a bit more research, but like I said earlier, that's not like me. I'd have done it earlier in the year, I think. Well earlier in the year. And that's certain things with my old job as well. I could have changed things earlier with that, but I think they're all learning processes just to learn from them. I've done it for a reason, good reasons, realistically, and but that's about it, really.
So when you say research, was that researching about the job and about the qualifying process?
Yeah. I learned so much. I put a comment on Facebook, and I spoke with Andy. That was the first time I spoke with Andy, and he's given me loads of advice and stuff, and that's how I've learned the majority of my stuff, from where Andy's pointing the direction. But it opened my eyes, and but that's with regards to what I needed to do. I didn't know what I needed to do. When I passed my part 2. I passed it in Stoke, so I took it upon myself. I didn't know. I had a bit of training, but I just went driving down Stoke because I knew the area myself, and I just went driving. I took the wife and kids down in the caravan, parked them up in a caravan site, and then I just went driving around Stoke, learning the nuts and crannies, and I got talking to a ADI in Stoke, and I went out with him a couple of times. He was a good lad, really good lad, and he took me around with the test routes and stuff like that, which was invaluable. So I enjoyed doing that.
Nice. So I'm going to bring this one around to Penny then. Looking back on the year, what things, if you could, would you change?
I think I'd like to change it so we've got 10 days in a working week.
Yep.
I probably feel them as well.
What we do.
Time
That's actually
management.
people talking.
Yeah. Time management is the obvious one. Probably taking on too much shouldn't have taken on quite as much as I have done this year. So my moving from, again, it's that one question leads to another, isn't it? But yeah, I'll hold that back. Yeah. Doing things for myself rather than for everybody else, because I'm not very good at doing things for myself.
Can't ask too many questions on that without leading into the next one, which I'm sure we'll get to. That is something that I mean, we're all on Zoom on the 29th of December
At 8 o'clock in the
for
evening, yeah.
at 8 o'clock in the evening for a driving related podcast, talking about how everyone should manage their time better. The irony is great with this one. But yeah, I can see kind of what you mean there, because I don't think off your list of things you're proud of achieving, I can't imagine you don't want to like not achieve any of those, but to be able to do that and have more time to maybe do it, or more time for yourself while still achieving all of that.
Yeah, because I think because I work because I'm working all the time and fitting in like the CPD around work as well. When I get home in the evenings, if I've not got anything on, that's it. I just flop in front of the TV and don't do anything because I can't. I physically cannot do anything. So I think I definitely need to cut down on what I'm doing so that I have time to do what I want to do.
And we can maybe get on to that and that
Yeah,
next question, finding out what that is that you want to do
yeah.
and how it's going to shape 2026. But before we get to that question, Carl, if there was anything you could change from the year, what would it be?
Funny question for me, this, because I've got I've got this thing about me where it's helped me through quite a diverse life, building up to where I am today, was to never regret or think that I should have changed anything from the past. Because I believe that my philosophy is really, and I don't just say it, I actually feel it, that we cannot change the past. And regret is a futile emotion that only serves one purpose, and that is to piss you off because you can't do something all about it. So, do you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna be true to myself and say I wouldn't change a thing. There's things that I wish wouldn't have happened, and I've already mentioned that, but we can't change the process of life. So, no, because I do believe that whatever happened just at the right time for the right reasons. And that's my philosophy, and I'm not going to go back on it, because if I do, I'm going back on the way that I have to operate in, because anything that's behind me is unchangeable. So no, I can learn from it and make decisions moving forward, and that's the way I look at it.
I'm not going to follow that up with a question then, because that's going to be the next question. We can look forward to what changes are we going to make? What progress do we want? So I do like that philosophy, and I like the fact you've stuck with it, and we can't change what's happened. And it is, I was having a conversation with my learner. I was telling Andy earlier before record that everything happens for a reason. I went out to my car this morning, it was dead. Like, it wouldn't even unlock. And the only reason I was in work today was for the learner who had a lesson at 8 o'clock this morning, has her driving test tomorrow. If she didn't want a lesson today, I wouldn't have been in work. So I'd have been going into my car tomorrow and it wouldn't have started. And she wouldn't have been able to do a driving test because it was a completely dead battery. Jump started it, turned it off. Well, I stalled and then I couldn't start it again. So I had to jump start it again. Yeah, I'm going to edit that bit out, by the way, so don't worry. We'll just put straight faces on and I'll carry on.
We'll be listening
yeah,
for
that
edit.
I stalled, so I had to get my missus out again so we could jumpstart it. Got to my student's house, got her in, got her set, and I was like, before we go, we're just going to make sure the car does start. So we turned it off, turned it on, and it wouldn't start again. So an hour and a half later, I've got a new battery. I've made no money today, but I had a working car and she managed to get her lesson. But if that didn't happen this morning because she didn't want a lesson and she just wanted to go straight for test, that would have all happened tomorrow and she wouldn't have gone for a driving test. So I had that conversation. I'm like, it happens for a reason. Because had
Synchronicity.
this have happened tomorrow, say again.
Synchronicity. No such
Yeah.
thing as coincidence. It's all synchronicity.
It's interesting. So, yeah, that was my day. I'm not going to bore you with any more of it, but it saved a test tomorrow because my car now works. So, there we go. We can't change what's happened in the past. We can learn from it and look forward to any changes. Which
What's he
brings me
pointing
on to that.
at?
Okay,
Yeah, what are you pointing at, Andy?
go on.
I'm crossing my fingers because he thinks it might be an alternator problem.
Shh. I'm gonna have to go and start it now after this. Going out in my pajamas, making sure my car runs, take it around the block. So
We won't
yeah,
prove you
here's to
wrong.
hoping. The full bit will be edited out if it doesn't work tomorrow. But we're going to learn from all of these lessons, and that's going to bring us on to the last question of these three. And that is looking forward to 2026, so the year ahead. What things are you wanting to achieve? What goals are you setting yourself? What changes are you going to make? This could be anything. It can be CPD, driver training, further qualifications, personal life, work-life balance, whatever it means to you. But what things are you going to be doing as we go through this year? And I'm going to stick with the same order, which means, Andy, you're up again.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to continue with CPD as I think it's important. I've signed up to the Bright Coaching Diploma, so I'm going to give that a go next year. So I'll be rubbing shoulders with Penny again on more occasions because I know Penny's have signed up to it. I'll be visiting all conferences again because I feel I get a lot from conferences, even the free one. Yes, that's right. It's free. It's free to attend. Why can't we get 25,000 there instead of 1,700 out of 52,000? Take a day off. Come along. So
Put it
yeah,
through
I'll
the
be.
books, call it a works event.
Oh yeah, why not? Take some time out of some CPD. Improve yourself because it'll improve your learners. Because I know what I've done this year has improved me. You know what I mean? I've done all sorts this year. I've even done me Rossborough and IAM this year, and I think that improves your driving as well. And I know a couple of PDIs that are going to go and do it next year in 2026. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue with CPD and move forward with that, make myself better, and that's all I'm getting away on this podcast.
We've got a follow-up one coming soon, so stay tuned, everyone. Andy doesn't know it yet, but he's already unofficially signed up to come and do another one. So yeah, we'll leave that there. Maybe we'll do a launch one.
Have you received my rates?
No, I'll send that to my assistant and they can form the invoice. I charge commission when you come on the show, though. So we will follow around that same order. So from you, Gary, what are your goals for the year? What things are you looking forward to?
Doing my part 3. That's end of February, so I'm looking forward to that. See what happens with that. I'm looking forward to getting people in the back of the car. because I don't think that'll bother me. I don't think that bothers me that much. Diary management, I need to crack on with that because that was just got a bit stupid towards Christmas. But I've enjoyed having the time off that I've had. So I've not worked since the day before, the Sunday before Christmas, which was good. Just had to chill out. So a bit of work-life balance. Not work 7 days, work 6. So them are the things I'm trying to get sorted. Trying to look forward to. So more learning. So that's good.
Have you written down what you want your diary to look like in 2026?
No, I haven't written down. No, maybe I need to do that.
It helped me when I
Did it?
wrote down, yeah, like when you see it written down and you're like, right, that's it. It made it a lot easier for me because sometimes if we've just got it in our head, we can go, oh, yeah, I can squeeze an extra one here. I can do this here. I've not got a lesson on a Tuesday morning, so I can work later. And then all of a sudden, the late one and the early one's filled. And then
Yeah.
before you know it, it kind of gets away with you again.
Yeah.
I find with anything, goals, diary, writing it down, not just on a computer, but pen and paper in front of you makes a big difference.
Right. Okay.
That's
I,
my opinion. Don't know where I've picked that up from, but it helps me massively.
yeah. I think that would help me because when I have things planned with the family, I always put it in my diary, and then that stays empty then, which is good. So
There we go. We'll look forward to hearing how that goes as we work through the year. But as you can tell from all of us here, whether we've been doing it a few years or longer, time management is still one of those constant battles that we can have. And just because it's not lessons, I think we still find ourselves being busy with other stuff as well. But some big goals there, and I guess your focus is on that February time, get that passed,
very
and
much
then
so.
see where you go. Yeah.
Because it opens up so many different avenues then, rather than just staying in this avenue, this road. Opens up so many things that I've thought about what I want to do, but I just have to keep them. If I start focusing on them too much, I'll lose focus on the last little bit of things that I have to try and get done to progress.
Absolutely. It's got to take your focus. It was the same for me with that standards check. It was, right, I've got to really focus now on this one thing, get it done, then we look for the next. So fair play. We'll look forward to hearing how you get on with that. And yeah, we'll follow up hopefully end of February time. Once you've passed your part 3, you can maybe come on and share how it's been for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll bring it over to you, Penny. You're next on my anti-clockwise direction. What are your goals and aspirations for the year?
Well, the ones already set out are the bright coaching, as Andy said. Really need to do my confident drivers course as well, because that's still pending. And I'll be to probably not all of the conferences. I don't tend to do the DIA one anymore. If I can get to it, I might. Depends if I can get the time off work. Depending on what I do with work, because that's one of my undecideds at the moment. And what I'm going to drop. I'm going to drop something, but I don't know what I'm going to drop yet. Because I need some time. I need more time, as I was saying earlier. So they're the ones already set. And I need to give myself more time so I can do the things that I really want to do. So obviously I'm going to need time to do the studying for the courses that I'm doing, so I can actually do them. And the other thing that I've been doing since 2018. Did you know about Josh?
Ah,
I want to get that done. I want to get that finished.
I like the code in there. That was okay. You saw the blank look on my face, and
Yeah.
then penny dropped. But there you
Penny
go.
drop.
Penny, yeah. I am with you. So you've got some goals. Have you written down what it is you're currently doing and what you need to figure out?
Not as yet. That was one of my tasks over this week off, to sit down, get everything in my diary, because I haven't even got the courses written in my diary yet. So I need to get them all written down. Yeah, that's my goal for this week, apart from doing like all the tidying up that's been neglected over this year. We started on that today, so that's the first goal of the year, to have the place tidy before January the 1st. Or should I say that's the last goal of this year? But yeah, I've
Yeah.
got plenty to be doing. I'm actually working tomorrow. I've got 2 of my PDIs tomorrow, so that's tomorrow morning out. So I haven't got much longer left.
There's only a few days left of the year.
Yeah, and then back to work on properly on the 3rd. Lessons start on the 3rd, and then back to work on the 5th.
And then we get ready to do it all again, hopefully
Yes,
with
indeed.
some more focused direction towards that end goal, whatever it
Hopefully,
ends up being.
hopefully.
There's only us that can make it happen.
This is true. If we don't do anything, nothing will change, will it?
What's that saying? If you keep doing what you've always done,
That's it.
keep getting what you've always got. There we go. Well, I'm sure we can all discuss these look forward tos to bring the episode to an end after this. Now we've been round, but Carl, Europe, what are your goals for 2026?
To get more fabulous, just more fabulous. I think I think the biggest one for me at the minute is, my plans with another ADI that I'm connected to is to open up a new school. It's still in the infancy, we're very quite excited about it. We've been conversing about how we're going to put it together. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to what I like to organically grow things, like let them take the course rather than forcing them and getting stressed over it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. With the plans that we have, we're trying to sort of move into the automatic and the manual, and hopefully taking on more PDIs eventually. Um, hmm. What Andy mentioned before, I've looked into ROSPA and IAM. I've also been talking to another trainer in my area to look into more advanced, stuff like, the police, blue light training and stuff like that. So, but again, I'm not going to rush into everything. I'm going to allow time so I don't end up in that position like Penny's talking about, when you just feel like you've got too much and now not enough time for yourself. Because like the other stuff that I do, like the other, the music and what have you, that has to be prioritized quite massively. That's not going to suffer in any way. So, diary management, I've got a lot better at it. And how I did it, I don't know where Gary's gone there. I was going to mention something to Gary about it. Because what I did do, because I use Total Drive. Do you still use Total Drive, Andy? Yeah. Because I found that I was being dictated to where when people was taking lessons. But what I actually did was I put 2 or 3 months out as lesson gaps on my diary. So I work when I want to work. So I start at 8 a.m. and I'm done by 2:30. And anybody that can't take lessons in that time can't have a lesson. because it disrupts everything else. Now, I do make concessions for other people, like if I need to. If I let's say they're really struggling to get a lesson, I say, right, okay, well, I'll do the odd one here and there. But I need to start saying no a little bit more. I do actually work on my days off. I have 2 days off a week, but I don't actually take those 2 days off. So I'm going to start moving forward into actually starting to take that time off. Like saying, I don't work on that day, unless the test comes up, I'm not going to do it. I'm not right good at that at the minute. So moving forward, I think that I'm going to get a little bit more strict with that. I'm pretty strict with my hours. I think it just needs a little bit more fine tuning. So I think I'm just looking forward to letting what I've already achieved grow even further. But like I said, without the too much of a shove, it's got to be running its course naturally. I don't want to push myself too far because I don't want to not enjoy what I do. So however I do it, I've got to be in the mindset that I'm not rushing round and getting clumsy. Because we all know what happens when we rush. We just mess everything up. And my language is getting better. Have you noticed that I'm not swearing as much tonight? I think you've cleverly structured this questions things to keep me quiet while everyone else is talking.
He's on to us, guys.
It's took the best part of an hour and a half.
When I read that email, I was like, that sounds like they're trying to shut me up.
It was after your comment on the episode the other day. I'm like, well, if he doesn't want to be the star of the show, I'm going to have to add structure. And it was apparently a cheat code to get your language so it can be PG when I upload it.
Well, I'm going to fuck that up for you.
It's all right. You've already dropped those bombs in already. I already need to put a disclaimer out, Carl.
But yeah, I think that sort of sums it up. I'm not gonna. What I don't want to do is hang my hat on everything and go, "This has to be done. This got to be done. Got to be done. Got to be done." I'm gonna make an effort to make sure that I do move forward with it, where I want it to go. But I'm just gonna let it take its course naturally. And if that takes me a couple of years, that's fine. I'm fine with that. No, I'm not ready to hang me out up yet. So yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to. Open a new school, just getting a little bit better with my diary management. Stop smoking, swear less. No, fuck that. And just, do whatever I can. Do whatever I can to get better. Yeah. What I don't want to do is, like I said, push myself. I'm not going to go too far with it because my brain won't take that. I can't study like most people. I can't open a book and study that way. Coursework is incredibly hard for me to do because I have to. It's even if I say to myself, I've got to do it, then that goes the opposite way. I'll push it aside and I won't. I'm like Hansel and Gretel. Just because you told me I had to, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? And that's me, and I just have to deal with that. It's not going to change. I just have to let things grow on their own, and that's what I'm going to do. As long as I'm making an effort, that's the main thing. Yeah, and that's how I intend to carry on. So yeah, it's going to be a good year. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sounds like it's going to be a good year for everyone. There's some big targets, some small consistent changes. Is there anything anyone else would like to add before I open it up for everyone?
Well, what's your plans for next year?
You think I come with a plan to any year? I do have some. Yeah. Mine is, I think it's still probably time management, but I want to say more efficient with my time. I get done what I need to get done, but there's more efficient ways for me to do it. I need to be more structured with everything else I've got going on. So, like the podcast is going to be, filming's going to be set days, editing's going to be set days. that's what I need to do, because my driving school diary is where I want it. So that needs to stay. My evenings and my weekends are not where I want them. So that needs changing. So yeah, time management, streamlining what I'm doing. More with the podcast. I'm changing the structure of the podcast slightly going into this year. So there are going to be some tweaks with the podcast, some changes over the first quarter of 2026. And then hopefully that'll set then the groundwork for how it's going to run for the rest of the year. Still staying weekly is my intentions. Monthly non-recorded sessions. I'd like to do more of this, but I need to think of some of the questions and the themes that we're going to do. I've enjoyed doing these over the last 4 weeks, so I'd like to open it up to groups of people, either mixed groups like we have here, whether it's a group of PDIs or a group of ADIs or a group of trainers, or more of this. More PDIs with Instruct IQ, that's growing. I have lots of little goals and everything's almost set now. I think a little bit like what Carl was saying, the groundwork's been done. It's now pursuing it in whatever direction it grows. But there's not one target that I've got. I struggle with goals. I struggle with structure. But I need to find structure and then I can probably identify my goals. So that's one of my challenges. But going forward, more disciplined with my time, grow the podcast, help more PDIs, and find some time for CPD when I know where I want to study. I know what I want to study, but I don't have the time to do it now. I think I've spoke to a few people off record where my interests are, but it's more not just driver training related. So
Can I ask you a question, John?
I've skirted around it. Go for it.
Right, you say you struggle with goals, you know what I mean? And I can be a little bit like that. But I've got a question for you regarding, one of your goals that you reached, which was, your grade A on your standards check. Do you think that putting yourself out there, being open and transparent on the lead up to it helped you achieve that goal? Because you were very accountable, wasn't you, with the way you did it?
That's a very interesting question. And it held me to account on the days where I maybe could have been slacking a little bit. There was that part in the back of my head. It's like, Josh, you've got to tell everyone on Friday what you've been doing. And if you just want to chin it all off, you're going to have nothing to tell people. So that was my accountability for the preparation. One of my biggest, I don't know whether this is, I don't know what the word is to describe this, but where the nerves came in for me when I picked my student up wasn't so much the standards check. It was, there are many people that are waiting on this result, and I've got to go online and tell everyone in a live video what my result was. And how am I going to word that if I don't get a grade A? That was where my nerves were. Looking back on it, it was all a bit crazy, really, wasn't it? Stupid idea. Very stupid idea. But we done it. It held me more accountable. To answer your question, I think it probably did help me get the grade I wanted due to the accountability and the preparation. But it added a hell of a lot to the nerves in the build up to that last week. And then the day of, I've announced it to everyone and I've been blogging the journey. So,
but it's interesting for me. Well, that answer that you've just given is interesting because if you think like if you struggle with goals, then if you use similar tactics to achieve a goal, then you at least you know that you can do that and it's going to help you. Do you know what I mean? To get where you want to be. So that's probably a good reflection for you to think, oh, actually, that did actually help me to achieve that goal in a big way, really. It's incredible what you did. I don't think it was a silly decision. I thought it was really, it was very brave, and I was like, wow, Josh, you know what I mean? I think I'm pretty chuffed you're doing it, but I'm like, that is proper putting your head on the line there, isn't it? But it works, and in quite a short space of time as well. So, you know what I mean? So I think that if we can all look at how we can achieve those goals and what works best for us, like I said with mine, it's letting it run its course naturally rather than trying to push the river down the river, for want of a better expression. Go with the flow. So yeah, I think it's interesting that because I just thought, well, it's quite a lot on the podcast as well. What are your plans for the podcast in the future? I mean, are you looking at sort of making it bigger, more? I'm asking that question because I think about like Terry Cook. He's about next year. He's hanging his hat up on the podcast, isn't there? So there's quite a lot of space to fill there, isn't there?
I would like to continue the way it is, the structure only slightly, so more content is open for everyone. From the beginning of starting the show, I wanted it to always be free. The reason it went paid was it was it's not financially viable. The amount of time it takes and the amount of effort that goes into it. I've got a mortgage to pay. So I've kind of had to go down this route to make it financially viable. I've probably not done it the best way. I've probably not done it the most efficient way. I've not come at it from a business mind, and getting to where we've got to now with the podcast was never my plan. It was let's talk to some recently qualified ADIs, share your journey, let's help some PDIs. But I'd like more guests from outside the industry to come in so we can see the links to education, to coaching, to road safety. That's something. More of it going out for free, which I have plans for from February onwards because I'm going to have more time to edit. More interactive, and I'd like more members so that I can do more of this, whether it's on record or off record, where we can just get together. Like Andy said, it can be quite an isolating industry. So I'd like to be able to jump on a Zoom session more than once a month to catch up with people. So I have no set goals. I have ideas, and I need to see in that first 6 to 8 weeks of the year how they work and how it all then comes together.
What a jingle doing for you for the podcast for the new year? I'll do your jingle in the studio.
There we go. You give me a jingle,
You
and we'll see where that
know the
fits
big
in.
X-Factor voice, Josh Holleran.
We'll get that with some flashing lights. But yeah, I think there's huge potential. I need time now to produce the podcast better. So yeah, there is some things in the back of my mind, some things at the front of my mind, some changes coming with the podcast, but I'd like to keep it growing more to help people and just to be able to do more interactive sessions like this. So that's my goals for 2026. Swerved, I think, a lot of direct questions and didn't have the opportunity to spin it back on you guys. But is there anything else that people would like to share, ask, discuss before we wrap up this evening?
There's one goal that I did not mention. I've got my standards check this year at some point. Don't know when, because it's on hold. It's been on hold since September. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm
I'm
aiming
just
for
pointing
that
out,
A as well.
I'm not subject, Penny. I mean, I know it's different in different areas. It's more sort of towards leaning towards Andy there because of where we live. But I was in the test centre last week, and the test centre manager at Bredbury said to me, Elaine, she just said, if you're in Manchester, you are not getting a standards check this year. She said, you've got no chance. She said, we've got one guy coming here, he's new, can't remember his name, and all the others are gone. And he's jiggling around everywhere. And she just said, she said, unless you've got a shitload of complaints made about you and you've got a terrible track record, you're not getting a standards check anytime soon. It won't be this year. Next year, she said.
I've only had
2026.
2 people to test this past year, so
Right.
that might help me get my standards check.
I'd like to ask you a question on that, Penny, because you've requested it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've been pestering them. How do you feel now you know you've got one on hold? So there is a standards check pending.
I'm looking forward to it. I need it. I say it's been over 10 years now. It's 10 years on the 8th of December since my last one. My
That is a long
one
time.
and only one. So
That's a long time.
yeah, so I need one.
I think it was good to hear as well that Gary said before that he was actually looking forward to it. You know what I mean? I think it's good to look forward to it.
Yeah.
If my standards check came through, I would have mixed feelings about it. In fairness, I would, but I am actually looking forward to it coming, and I'm a bit pissed off that she said that because I thought I don't really want to wait that long. Do you know what I mean? I want to open a new business. I want, sort of be able to just get it out of the way, rather than sitting and waiting for it. So yeah, I'd rather do it. But if that's the case, I'll just have to bloody wait, won't I? I could apply, but like I said, I'm not going to push it. I'll let it happen organically.
You know what they say, don't you? The best comes to those who wait.
I've waited long enough.
Yeah, I think I might have caused a bit of a problem when I done mine because there was quite a few people that messaged me saying I'm going to do the same. So I expect there was a few people that emailed after mine, and the DVSA are like, what's going on? Why does everyone want to start this check?
Yeah.
But again, it's the DVSA failing people. Hopefully, because when this goes out, I'm not sure whether we'll have the new person in charge or not, but we could see some new changes from the DVSA towards the end of 2026 as well. So that could be interesting. I can't see
We'll
how
see.
because if they can't get the staff, that nothing changes. So I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to stay with the theme of never saying anything bad about the DVSA because that's not what I do on this show. So we'll leave them out of it. But let's hope for some changes going into this year.
Just not on the show. Okay.
Yeah, we can't.
No, you can't, can you? Look, they'll do what they can do, I suppose. I mean, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? I certainly would not, even if I was capable of doing it, I would not want that job of, of taking over from Loveday Rider and trying to sort the mess out. It's not just there, is it? I mean, it's the whole bloody thing. I think it's down to the fact that it's tied in with it's a civil servant job, and they can't increase the wages. They're not going to keep the staff. They might take 400 new examiners on, but they'll probably lose 200 or 300 anyway. So it ain't going to change anytime soon, is it?
No, I just take the job, stay in long enough to collect the pension and disappear. But that's
And
my
if you
opinion.
if you keep doing what you've done, you'll get what you've just got.
There we go. So we've got to make our own changes going into this year. Any final points from anyone?
So over these last 4 or 5 weeks, then we've realised that time management is the key.
Yeah.
Is that right? And you're laughing.
Time management. It's a funny thing, though, isn't it? We only have 24 hours in a day, and you've got to be good to yourself when you're considering time management. It's all right saying, well, I'll just manage my diary better. Does that really include you? Does it include ourselves? So, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that this whole session has been quite important for us reflecting and setting, realizing what goals we do. Because a lot of it bounces around in our heads, doesn't it? Oh, I've done this and I've done that, and I should have done this and I should have done that, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and then everything gets in the way. But I think when you solidify it all into one little place and go, actually, I've achieved that, and actually, I can do this, because we doubt ourselves a lot, don't we? And we do it. I think we've all done pretty well, to be fair. Do you know what I mean?
It's that saying it out loud as well, isn't it? And saying it to
Yeah,
someone, especially with
it
the
is.
goals and stuff.
I'm a firm believer of the spoken word is a lot more power than the words in your head, which is like obviously like commentary driving, isn't it? I always tell my clients, like, if you bring them words out of your mouth, your hands and feet will follow. You know what I mean? And it is important to get it out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's yeah, very good. I've enjoyed it.
My immediate goal after this episode is to write down some goals for the year and stick it up somewhere and keep looking at it until I've achieved them.
Good to have a
That's
tick
my
chart,
plan.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Little chart on the wall, tick them off as you, and every time you tick one off, replace it with another one. You've always got a constant list of stuff there. You say, like, write 10 goals down, and every time you achieve one, replace it with another one.
You've got to reward yourself when you achieve them.
Yep. Dog biscuit.
Yep. Just wait until we've got the Christmas weight off before we have too many treats. There we go. Anything else from anyone?
No, that's it. Is that the last one then? We're never doing any more, yeah?
Yeah, no, never doing them again. We will do more of these. It won't be January. Maybe looking in February time, we'll look to do these potentially every other month. We'll come up with some topics to talk on. But for now, this is December as a wrap, 2025 as a wrap. And I'd like to thank you guys for being on. And there's three of you that have been on all of them. So thank you very much for making these. Thank you for being on the show through the year. And yeah, thanks for being part of MSP community. Hopefully, we're all still here in 2026 talking about cool driver training related stuff and putting more. Maybe we'll look back on this episode and then do one December 2026. There we go. For this one.
See if we've achieved what we said we were going to achieve.
I think we will. There's nothing to stop us.
Exactly.
It's good though, isn't it? I like all this. I mean, I think that, it's important that we sort of try and keep this thing up, this sort of platform, because like Andy said before, it can be lonely, and even just I find that you have just one conversation with another ADI or another PDI or something else, you always learn something. There's always something. There's little nuggets everywhere, isn't there? Even 5 minutes with somebody in a test centre sometimes can bring that about. And, I think that these scenarios are just amazing for that.
I think everybody has an effect on me because they seem to run from me because I can talk for longer than 5 minutes.
Well, there is, before we disappear for this evening, it will have happened before this episode goes out, but it's that monthly session. Andy twisted my arm, and it's Friday, 2nd of January.
The
2nd of January. So you guys, the Friday night, late night love affair.
What's that? So remind me.
It's no filter, no script, no recording. So you're allowed to say the odd swear word on that one if you want, Carl. And I don't have to bleep them out.
What?
So me and another lad.
Session.
Yeah, me and another lad, we do it every month, and it's ADIs and PDIs, and it's called the Late Night Love Affair. You might find love come along
on a Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, give me the dates. What are the dates?
2nd of January. We do speed dating.
What date? I'm in India.
2nd of January.
Oh, 2nd. I thought you said the end of January. 2nd of January. Right.
Because speed dating, bring your own powder.
They're
What sort of
it
party is
usually
this?
falls the last
There we go.
Friday of the month or the second to last Friday of the month, and it's for the members. And we talk about whatever. It's a Friday night. Bring your beer or not, and we talk about whatever's we want to talk about. But the next one is this Friday coming, 2nd of January,
Right.
and I'll then release the dates for the end of January, and then yeah, one a month at the minute. The more members we get, the more sessions we can put on, the more of those we can host. So that's the next interactive session. Unfortunately, anyone watching or listening to this when it goes out, it's already happened. Sign up and you can catch the next one at the end of January.
Started. I'm going to get pissed and swear.
You can. I'm going to leave that in and I'm going to end the episode now with that bit as a finishing note. Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having us, Josh.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Yeah,
Hope you had a
too.
good one. Thank you very much to the members that joined me this evening for the episode. And thank you to you guys for watching and listening. And thank you to the members who support the show and have done throughout 2025. I look forward to the episode growing and seeing where we end up by the end of this year, 2026. So before we disappear, I'd like to mention the sponsors, thank them for their support over the last few months of the show. And you guys can find all of their award-winning content at www.adikit.co.uk. Thank you.